Hello everyone and welcome back to another Study Monster OCR Creative iMedia video. This time around we're going to be focusing on the job roles in the media industry. So today we're going to dive into the creative job roles that make the media industry come alive. These are the people who create ideas, shape stories, design visuals, capture moments and craft the content that audiences see, hear and interact with every day. By the end of this video, you're going to understand how each creative role contributes to media products, the main responsibilities of each role, which roles belong to pre-production, production or post-production, and why some roles span multiple phases and why some people end up doing more than one job, depending on the size of the project. So imagine you're helping produce a promotional video for a new indie game. It's a small studio, 5 people, tight deadlines and big dreams. Everybody needs to pitch in. You've got artists sketching characters, someone writing the scripts for the trailer, photographers capturing behind the scenes shots, and a web developer and designer developing and building the website. Each role is different, but they all connect like pieces of a jigsaw. And because the team is small, some people handle multiple responsibilities, switching between pre-production, brainstorming, production stage creation, and post-production polish. So let's meet the creative team. So first off the bat, the animator. Contribution-wise, they produce moving images and animated sequences for games, adverts, web content, apps or social media. They use specialist software to do this. Responsibilities-wise, they're responsible for storyboarding ideas, so getting their ideas down on paper and seeing how each sequence interacts with the next in pre-production, creating digital or hand-drawn animations in the production stage, or adding effects or tweaking animations in post-production. The phases that they operate in, like I've mentioned, it covers all phases, so pre-production, production and post-production. Next up, we have the copywriter. So they are contribution-wise responsible for writing all of the words behind adverts, websites, the scripts, posters, product descriptions and social media captions that we see every day. They're responsible for researching the target audience, understanding who their audience is so that they can engage them properly, writing persuasive, engaging or informative writing, and working with designers and directors. The phases, they mostly work in pre-production, planning out all of the words and what is said. Sometimes, however, they will work in the production stage where they make on-the-fly script changes as and when needed. Next up, we've got the content creator. So contribution-wise, making engaging media for online platforms, things like videos, images, blogs, streams, social posts, things like this. Responsibility-wise, they are planning ideas based on the audience and the trends. They work in pre-production, filming, designing and recording content, which is the production stage of a product, and editing and scheduling posts in post-production. So they work often across all phases of production. Next, we've got the graphics designer. They create visual elements, so things like logos, posters, user interface graphics, adverts, layouts, social media assets, and a whole host of other things. Responsible for designing according to a brief, so they will look at a client brief, a company brief, and make what is needed. Creating visual identities, so logos, branding for companies, combining text, images, colours and to communicate meaning. They mainly again work in the production stage, but sometimes pre-production when developing concepts at the planning stage. Next up, we've got the illustrator or graphic artist, very similar to the graphics designer from the previous slide. Produces original artwork such as characters, backgrounds, book covers, comic panels, game assets and things like this. They are responsible for sketching concepts and drafts, creating final digital illustrations or paper illustrations, working closely with animators and graphics designers. Phase-wise, they mostly work in pre-production, so the planning stage, creating character concepts and things like this, stage concepts, and in the production stage. We've also got the photographer, capturing high quality images for magazines, websites, adverts, social media posts and visual imaging products. responsible for planning shooting concepts or pre-production, so they plan out where they're going to make these shots, the lighting that's required, things like this. Capturing images using technical and creative methods in the production stage, and editing and retouching photos in the post-production stage. So these are people that will work across all stages of production depending on what project it is they're taking on. Next up, the scriptwriter creates a dialogue, narrative flow and produces and structure for films, videos, podcasts and adverts and games. They're responsible for developing storyline ideas, writing scripts and revising drafts, collaborating with directors and creatives that are working on that project. So phases primarily the planning stage and pre-production, but they can work in production when they're making online and on-the-fly script changes and things like this. Finally, we've got the web designer. Designs the layout, the look, the usability and interactivity of websites used to promote or deliver media products. So responsibility-wise, they are creating wireframes and page layouts in pre-production, designing the actual planning of a website, how it's going to look, how it's going to feel. They also design the graphics and visual style sometimes in the production stage when they're making the website, and then testing and refining the designs in post-production and making sure that everything's working correctly. So phase-wise, they can span all phases, especially on a digital first project, so like a website-based project. You need to be aware that in many productions, especially small-scale ones, individuals will take up more than one role. This is because of a variety of things, so budget limitations because it's a small project, small teams of people, tight time scales, overlap between creative skills, so you might have a web designer that is also very handy when it comes to designing graphics and things like that, so people will take on multiple roles. For example, a graphics designer might also act as a copywriter for social media posts, or a photographer might edit video for a promotional reel or a promotional trailer. So remember, creative jobs bring ideas to life using words, visuals, animation and design. Each role contributes differently to the creation of a media product. Some roles work mainly in pre-production, others in production, and some cover all of the phases. And smaller projects often require creative staff to take on multiple roles, so not just sitting in one role all of the time. So remember to like and subscribe, and also download your free copy of Study Monster's Creative Job Roles in the Media Industry Revision PDF. You can find the link to that in the description below. But like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.